Hey everyone, Crystal Grace here and welcome back to another pick a card reading, or in this instance, pick a crock plug. So this one is all about how people are currently describing you when you come up in conversation, or maybe it's like people that you know who are meeting other people and they're trying to, explain the kind of person you are. So with that said, quick disclaimer why you are choosing between pile 1, pile 2 or pile 3 is that if a reading or the message starts to trigger you in any way, please trust that that message is not for you and to opt off of the reading. I don't sit here to conjure like negative messages to ruin your day or set you on a downward spiral to abuse me in the comment section. Not that I really care for that, but at the end of the day, I do care that you're those people who behave like that are that affected to carry on. So I have a duty of care in that regard. So let's jump into pile 1 and find out how are people currently describing you. Pile number 1, welcome to your reading. So those of you who chose the crystal crock plug. So Dark Crystal, is there a movie called Dark Crystal or something? There is a movie called Dark Crystal and Crystal Castles, but obviously if you felt really drawn to this, you have an affiliation with crystals. That would be a very cliche assumption. I do feel like you guys who have picked this pile is that you feel energy quite intuitively, and you feel energy probably a lot more, the energy of other people, maybe even animals, a lot more than just your everyday average Joe below. Welcome, sweetie. So yeah, what I kind of pick up with this is like jagged little heart or jagged little pill. Alanis Morissette coming through. Not that I'm not a big promoter with music, but if it comes through I will acknowledge it. But a jagged little heart is also coming through, so I kind of feel like with the crystal you're very hard to crack, like you're very hard to break, and I think you've experienced a lot of heartache in this life. So this could be affiliated with how people describe you, like you're very beautiful on the inside and also on the out, but your life story or your journey to date in this life has not been so pretty. I feel like a lot of people might describe your life overall, pile 1, as to being quite brutal, and like people being a bit astonished to think that you just know how to pick yourself up and kind of keep going. So that's what I'm getting from the tarot. So let's find out. I'm going to use Big Papa. I'm going to use my big Rider-Waite deck because the cat's here. And I was just sitting watching Netflix, eating my dinner. She had plenty of opportunity to come and chill and get amongst it, and literally come into the tarot room and bam, comes running in. She just loves to be with you guys. So if you are new to the channel and you're thinking, what the fuck's up with this cat likes to be a part of your reading. Sometimes you get to see a little face. It's very sweet. All right, let's find out. Show me how people currently describing pile number 1. Ooh, Temperance. The Hierophant, big energy, guys. Whoa, the Magician. Five of Wands. And King of Cups. I'm going to take reversals today. Well, I'm going to take reversals for this pile. I will acknowledge King of Cups in the upright, but I feel like this King of Cups energy in the reverse, which is why I feel is important to consider the King of Cups in reverse as something to do with the energy being picked up with the crystal. Scoot over there. Good girl. So the best thing about using these gigantic cards is that this cat can sort of lay here and overrule the reading a bit. Look at you. You're so soft. Alrighty, so before we jump into it, just call out a couple of sign placements here. I know you guys love your signs. Two of Pentacles is naturally connected with Jupiter in Capricorn. Temperance is connected with Sagittarius energy, Jupiter again, funnily enough. So then we have Taurus and Venus for the Hierophant. The Magician is commonly connected with Venus, Taurus, and Libra. So strong Taurus Venus vibes. So your Venus might have, the planet Venus may have been in Taurus when you were born. And I think if you are sort of learning astrology, just on a side note, it's always good to look at your top 5. That is like the best place to start instead of getting super overwhelmed with aspects and trines and conjunctions and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, 5 of Wands, Saturn in Leo. You know, when I think about Saturn in Leo, and I don't think I've ever had this thought, like the download that I'm getting here about you is that like Saturn's all about karma, and Leo's have this very like wow factor, very captivating energy. And I actually think people describe you as somebody who has a lot of competition after them, like because pile 1 looks like XYZ, like they're heavily attractive, like that's really positive Saturn karma I feel like you have with that Leo. So that's the message I'm getting, which is random, but it is accurate, I would believe. People describe you as somebody who's very fortunate when it comes to your physical attributes. Well, at least that's what they believe. And then we have our King of Cups, which is Aquarius and Pisces energy. Alrighty. Alrighty, let's jump into the tarot. All right, so 2 of Pentacles leading the energy here is the overall vibe, how people describe you. Okay, because it's in reverse, I feel like people might describe you as like kind of unorganized chaos. Like, you know, your life might come across as really chaotic and really unorganized. And what I'm picking up with this is that people might describe you as somebody who doesn't really know where they're going but always lands on their feet. Like you're a person who doesn't really ever have set plans or goals in place. You might be a person who's sort of a bit wishy-washy when it comes to direction in life, and it could be because you have one idea one day and a new idea the next is sort of the vibe I'm picking up with the 2 of Pentacles. I feel like some people might describe that as a person who is in balance in one way, shape or form. But I would say that that probably comes from people who have shackles on their ankles, like kids and mortgages. And it's not to say, I'm not trying to like put down parents with kids, but when you have children, it's very hard to maneuver through life without having to think about the consequences of the child. Whereas when you're single, it's like you can just sort of go wherever the wind blows you. And that's sort of, I feel like the gist of this pile. So for others of you, you know, it could talk about maybe those with kids. It could actually talk about, people might describe you as somebody who's very overcommitted to your kids. Like you're always juggling too much and neglecting your love life or your relationships because of your kids, right? You definitely have created an imbalance in your life because you put your kids first, which is fantastic. But I'm a big believer, like you still need to nurture your own child within. So if that sort of sounds like you, cool, let's keep it moving. Now the Temperance card I love, right? It really contradicts this Two of Pentacles in reverse energy. But again, I kind of use the bottom card deck as the energy check-in for you. However, with the Temperance card, this talks about some really beautiful energy that people describe you as. They describe you as somebody who's very patient, has a lot of self-control with their inner calmness. So I feel like when people describe you, they describe you, part one, as somebody who doesn't fly off the fucking handles when shit does not go their way. And, you know, and I think if we reflect back to that Two of Pentacles energy is about unorganized chaos, like shit goes wrong in your life, but you don't fly off the handle. You don't like have these meltdowns, and it's not a tower moment for you. And I really think that comes back down to that original energy with the crystal crock plug, that you have gone through so much in your life that nothing really phases you. You probably cry behind closed doors, but you're really strong. You're really set in stone in the fact that you know you reap what you sow, and you just take everything in your stride. Okay, I do believe you guys have really good karma because of the introduction to this life, and you've handled it like a champ is what I'm hearing. But yeah, with the Temperance card, beautiful energy. You know, I feel like people might describe you as somebody who's a very unique perspective on life, a very harmonious view on life, even though you've probably had turbulent relationships. I think a lot of people might describe you as soulmate material. If you are in a relationship, I feel like the person that you are currently involved with is describing you as a potential soulmate, or is their soulmate. But I feel like people describe having a relationship with you as one that's very blessed, and one that brings a lot of healing for them, because the Temperance energy is very angelic, and it's all about healing and angels as well. So people might actually describe you as like their guardian angel. You may provide very sound advice to those around you, and I really, really love seeing this Temperance card. Now moving to the Hierophant, guys, like I can't help to think this goes hand in hand with this Temperance energy. People describe you as somebody who's very traditional, and not only traditional, I would say that they describe you as somebody who has very, like, you're a law-abiding citizen, and like, yeah, you might do naughty things here and there, but I think people describe you as somebody who has strong beliefs. It could be strong beliefs when it comes to relationships or your religion, but people definitely describe you as somebody who has traditional values and morals. So, you know, the 10 Commandments, be nice to those and people will be nice to you, even though that's really not how that fucking cookie crumbles, let's be honest. But you could be very institutionalized. Some people might describe you as somebody who has been institutionalized, and there's no judgment there. You know, and I understand that. Let's not digress, but yeah, and obviously the Hierophant is heavily connected to commitment as well. So people might describe you as somebody, like, once you commit to something, you're fucking all in. Like, you're not a half in, half out kind of person. So again, this could be talking about a romantic suitor you are pursuing at the moment. They are describing you as somebody who's very committed into maybe building a high level commitment with them at this time. So then we move on to the Magician. So the Magician would indicate something about your inspired action, your willpower. And again, this sort of trickles back to the Temperance card. Like, you do not fly off the handle. You stay very much grounded in your power. You are very intellectual, and you're also very logical as well. So I'm also seeing the King of Swords in my third eye. So I feel like people describe you as somebody who takes all the skills and the lessons that have been like presented to you over the course of your life, and you turn it into inspired action. You have the willpower of, like, I don't even know what analogy you would use, but you know, a trained dog, and hopefully that doesn't offend you, but you know, if a person trains a dog not to eat the food until they say go, like, that's sort of like that takes a lot for a dog to be that obedient, right? So I kind of feel like, I hope I'm not ruining anyone's day with this analogy, because it's literally just coming through clairaudient, but it's like, you know when you need self-control, and I feel like you also know when to let your hair down as well. So I definitely feel like there is this balance within you. But there is something about your intellect, and I think it inspires a lot of people around you. If you are a witchy woo-woo, I definitely feel like people may describe you as somebody who is into magic, because the magician is heavily into working with different types of tools, spiritual tools, in order to get what they want. I also kind of think people might describe you as very cunning. You're a person who's very talented. Okay, they might see you as somebody who lacks mental clarity at time, but that could be back into sort of trickling back into that Two of Pentacles energy about unorganized chaos. So the Five of Wands we already talked about, but just sort of to tap back into that energy, I just feel like people might describe you as somebody who, I don't know, might create a lot of conflicts or disagreements with people because they present themselves as suitors to you. So they might describe you as somebody who has a lot of competition after them, or they might describe you as somebody who has a lot of people fighting over them, like, or people fight with you because they want to hook up with you, but you're not interested. Either way, the Five of Wands, especially when there's multiple people on the imagery of the card for me, this talks about people describing you as somebody who could be very combative. Like, you're not afraid to get into disagreements or any conflicting arguments. You're not afraid of confrontation. You will hit like confrontation right on the head, like a nail on the head, so to speak. Like you're not afraid to compete for your rights, for your morals, you know, and even for your spiritual beliefs here. I feel like when you guys get into arguments, people describe you like you get into arguments for the right reason, not just because you're having a bad day and you want to like take it out on somebody. I feel like people describe you as somebody who only gets into arguments because people put you in that position. And then to close out your reading, we have the King of Cups in reverse. So the vibe I'm kind of picking up here, it can talk about emotional manipulation, right? So people might describe you as somebody who can kind of like see right through emotional manipulation. Like, I feel like the reason why I decided, sometimes I don't read reversal, sometimes I do. And I just feel like people might, because you can read energy, I feel like with this emotional manipulation, and that was the energy I was picking up originally, is that people describe you as somebody that when you feel like you are being used or emotionally manipulated, you become very withdrawn. Like you become very moody, and you might start controlling the situation in order to protect yourself. So it then turns the mirror, like, what's the word I'm looking for? It then somehow turns the tide back on you. So I feel like the person describing this could be somebody who's either tried to do a number on you, or has listened to your stories, right? About how people have tried to emotionally manipulate you, control you, and how it makes you withdrawn. I see the Eight of Cups in my third eye. So I feel like people describe you as somebody, when somebody toys with your heart space now, you walk. You become very withdrawn, you ghost, you go silent. You may create arguments, but I don't really feel like you do. I feel like arguments come at you because of how you look, not because of how you act. I think a lot of people try and compete with you because there's like this inferior of your beauty, because I'm coming back to that Saturn in Leo. But yeah, that King of Cups energy sort of gives me the impression people describe you as somebody that because you're such a devoted individual and you give sound advice, you're very diplomatic, very wise, and you're always seeking emotional fulfillment, I just kind of feel like people describe you as somebody, when people create an imbalance in your emotional state, you become very moody and withdrawn. So you become moody maybe at work. People can pick up something's going on, but they don't know what's going on. And those of you who are inflicting this sort of behavior on you, I'd say that they would describe you as somebody who becomes really withdrawn and ghosts. So that is what I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Okay, pile number 2. Welcome to your reading. So those of you who chose the heart and the strawberry, the rose and the strawberry. The yellow rose is a sign of friendship. Strawberries are very delicious and soft and sweet, like this little sweetie thing. So I feel like for a lot of you, you could be in a very delicate state at this time, maybe with your friends. You could have found a new friendship as well here. You could be the rose between two thorns for some of you. Like you could actually be in a bit of a hard position or a hard place at this time. I'm kind of getting a lot of blocked energy. Although this is very sweet, majestic energy, I kind of feel a bit blocked. So we're going to find out how people are describing you. We are taking reversals for this reading. So we have the 7 of Cups in reverse, the Fool. The Empress, nice. The Chariot in reverse. And the Judgment in reverse. Bottom of the deck, oof, Knight of Pentacles. Sorry, sweetie. Scare you. Lost a life then, didn't you? All right. All right. So before we jump into a couple of sign placements here, we have Aries and Taurus with the Knight of Pentacles coming out. 7 of Cups would suggest we might have some Scorpions in the house. Venus in Scorpio. The Fool is connected with Uranus or Aquarius. The Empress is Libra and Taurus and Venus energy. The Chariot, we have the Cancerian, the Moon in Cancer, and good old Judgment is Scorpio energy, again Pluto if you correlate with planets. So, how are people describing you? Just another quick energy check-in with the bottom of the deck card, right? The Knight of Pentacles is in reverse. So this is a card that could talk about you being kind of a workaholic at the moment. If you're not a workaholic, maybe you're dabbling in risky investments. That could be relationships, financial. I would say Pentacles are always linked with finances as opposed to love. But so when we talk about risky investments, it could be in buying things that you think that's going to make you more money. Now, Knight of Pentacles can also talk about laziness, being boring, irresponsible. So you may resonate with those traits or characteristics at this time. Or ripping the Band-Aid right off, people might describe you as somebody who dabbles in risky investments, you know, like I don't know, so Stockholm Syndrome is coming through. I'm not really sure what that is about. Let me know if that is a message directly to you. But, you know, some of you may feel like people would describe you as a workaholic. You might have a main 9-to-5 job and then you got a bunch of side hustles. Some of you, like I'm hearing 5 jobs, 3 jobs, like a lot of jobs, like you're always working. Very hard working. You might actually neglect certain relationships because of your work. Some of you may get really bored very quickly, which creates people to describe you as becoming disloyal in relationships, and it's probably not that. It's probably just because you're so busy. It's like if people can't keep up with you, you just naturally get bored. So people might describe you as somebody who gets bored. You could get bored really, really easily because like Knight of Pentacles upright, they're the slowest moving people in life, right? So in a reversals, it's sort of like the positives, but the opposite. You're moving a lot quicker than one that's always looking at being routine-based, reliable. Like you're sort of the opposite of that, but you still like mean well. Some people could describe you as somebody who's not ready for a stable, committed relationship here. Some people could describe you as like a bit of a player, but one that still offers really good experiences in the short term is what I feel with this Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. So the Seven of Cups. So we're going to jump straight into it now. If you still feel unsure this is your pile, then maybe it's not. The Seven of Cups in reverse is how people would describe you. I would have to say it being in the reverse talks about distractions, confusion, overwhelmed by choices. So people might describe you as somebody who gets really bored easily and quickly in relationships because you do have a lot of options, okay? There's a lot of choices, romantic choices around you. People describe you as somebody who has many pickings, right? And therefore, this either creates you to be really confused in your love life. People might describe you as somebody who gets a lot of confusion in their love life because they have a lot of suitors. I think with the Knight of Pentacles coming out and you being a workaholic, I would have to say like you are moving towards that Queen and King of Pentacles independence, financial like stability and security. And I think a lot of people around you can see this pile number 2. And I think because of this, people might describe you as somebody who's easily distracted or really overwhelmed by choices, because I guess you can be, because you are on the path of financial stability. So you don't need to settle. I think people describe you as somebody who's like, pile 2 doesn't need to settle. Like they know what they're looking for and they can happily sit and wait for it because they don't need to be in a relationship. They don't need to join unions with anyone. Maybe a lot of you have picked this pile. You've already got your children. You don't want any more. And maybe for some of you don't want kids. Like you're happy not to have them. So that's what I'm picking up with the Seven of Cups. And then we have the Fool. So look, the Fool is one that talks about somebody being adventurous, very free-spirited, very spontaneous. Again, very opposite energy to an upright Knight of Pentacles. So I feel like people describe you as somebody who's very original. You could be a person who loves to travel. You know, you could be a person who loves new beginnings. I honestly feel like a lot of people describe you as like non-committal in the sense that you're happier having multiple relationships as opposed to just one, is how I think a lot of people describe you. You really enjoy the new beginnings of meeting people and going on adventures. And I think a lot of people describe you as somebody that you're happy to be single. Like you will embark on new romantic journeys, but once they start boring you and you're sort of like, oh, there's all these other options, you leap towards other suitors. I think a lot of you are very fortunate in the fact of way you look. I think a lot of you are very sought after, and we see that here with the Empress, right? So the Empress tells me people describe you as the ultimate cat, right? You're a person who's very nurturing, very feminine, you know, you're very fertile, like you are a very beautiful individual here. And this Empress is front and center here of this spread, which really indicates to me people heavily describe you as somebody who is the full, complete package here. Like you are your own queen or king in your own right, and nobody can like take that away from you. Some of you come from old money here, and for others of you, you've made risky investments that have led you to great fortune. You look a lot younger than what you look, you look a lot younger than you look. You look a lot younger than you are. You may wear abstract kind of style clothing. People might describe you as somebody who doesn't really have a style. You kind of wear whatever like the mood is set for. But I definitely feel like with the Empress card coming out here, people definitely describe you as a great mother or a parent. They definitely describe you as somebody who's very naturist, somebody who's very harmonious, very sensual. Like if people describe what it was like to hook up with you, I feel like they describe you as somebody who's very like sexual and affectionate and like, yeah, like just an all-around good catch, really. The Empress is like right up there in the pickings of beauty. So then we have the Chariot in reverse. So this can talk about people describing you as somebody who has like, I don't know, maybe, look, it can talk about lack of direction, right? So that kind of ties back into this Knight of Pentacles. But I kind of feel like people describe you as like, you make them powerless. I feel like I don't feel like the Chariot is talking about describing you as somebody who's powerless. Maybe some of you are powerless in some way in your life. People might describe that you're powerless because you can't go in a certain direction because of something. For some of you, you could be stranded or stuck because of your own mother. You know, you might not be able to take a leap of faith towards, you know, something because that would create a challenge here. But I feel like we're asking the cards here, like, how do people describe you? And I can't help to think, like, the Chariot is like, they might describe you as somebody who's really slow moving, like you've slowed down a lot. You don't rush in, you don't rush towards obstacles and challenges so much. You sit there and you wait patiently. I feel like now I understand the Empress and the Chariot combine, even with the Judgment. Like this is a lot of major arcana here to come out. So it kind of tells me people describe you as somebody like there's no BS here. Like you're not going to fight with peasants. You're not going to fight and argue in petty little arguments that only create obstacles and challenges for you. People describe you as somebody that you attract, you do not chase. Like, you know, when we think about the Empress, this individual does not chase. So I kind of feel like, please stop. Okay, stop it. Just come over here and smile at the camera. Everyone loves that. So yeah, that's sort of what I'm picking up. I feel like I need to read that as a sequence. And then we obviously have the Judgment card. I'm getting a song in my head, but I don't actually know what it's called, but it's no, I don't have it. But yeah, the Judgment card, guys, in reverse would talk about self-doubt, some kind of self-loathing here, and unwillingness to learn from lessons. Let's rip the Band-Aid off. So I actually feel like some of you, people might describe you as very indecisive, strong Libra energy there. But the indecision creates a lot of self-doubt, or the indecisiveness comes from self-doubt. And people might describe you as somebody who has had a lot of lessons, but you've still failed to learn from them. And you know, it could be just on the basis that you don't settle. I actually feel this might come, that energy could be coming from a bitter ex or somebody that wants to settle down with you and you're like, no. Because when I think about that Judgment energy in reverse, it's like, unwillingness to learn lessons. The example I'm getting is like somebody that you've rejected, and then they use maybe like your sexual history on you and be like, you know, the reason why you won't find love is because you won't settle down, or you use people, or something along the lines of that. But I digress. So With that said, I hope you enjoyed your reading, and I will move on to pile number 3. Lucky last, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. So those of you who choose the mobile phone with the love heart, so some of you could be doing a lot of sexting, chatting, online dating. Your phone could be getting blown up right now with a lot of suitors or potential suitors, or maybe just one suitor here. But the vibe I get from that, or the energy I'm picking up with that crock plug, is like things are pretty good in the love space. It could be raining men, it could be raining women, it could be raining whatever gender you are into. But yeah, like I get positive vibes here. You could be playing a lot of games in love too. So there could be a lot of emotional lovers or game playing going on with different lovers. You could be a side piece at the moment. You could have other sorts of people on the burn here. Let's find out how people are describing you. We have Miss Shay in the house. It's very cute. Hello, Shay Shay. Oh, here we go. Baby Empress. Shay Shay. Shay. 2 of Cups, guys. Hey, Shay. And Death in reverse. I'll fix these cards up in a minute. We're going to go 6 of Wands is the overall energy. Hello, darling. I'm going to lay on the cards like your friends do. Yeah. She never comes on camera, guys, so she's a special treat for you this evening. She's such a beautiful little character. Poor little thing. Alrighty. So just a couple of astro placements to call out before we jump into the read. So Jupiter in Leo for the 6 of Wands. I believe we had, hello, we had the star energy. The star is linked with Aquarius, universe. You could be the queen of the universe, pile number 3. But yeah, 6 of Swords is linked with Mercury and Aquarius. So strong Aquarius vibes going on here. 9 of Pentacles, Venus in Virgo. 2 of Cups, Venus in Cancer. And then we have the beautiful Scorpio energy. Cool. Hello. You're such a pretty little girl. Now, quick energy check in with the bottom of the deck, right? Sorry, guys. Terrible viewing experience. Let's do that. And allow Shay to canoodle. If you don't like cats, not your platform. I have 3. All rescued at the same time, and I fucking love them. All right. 6 of Wands, 6 of Wands. Everybody sort of watches you come down the street, pile 3. I feel like you're very self-confident at this time. I just feel like, as I picked up with this mobile phone, there's a lot of success in your love life, and if there isn't, there's gonna be. You can feel it. They're all eyes on you at the moment. I think you are a great catch. We see that here with the 9 of Pentacles. We also see it with the 2 of Cups, but we have the Death card here, which kind of gives me the impression people describe you as somebody that, because you are so secure and stable within yourself, you're heavily abundant, you have a lot of romantic suitors, a lot of soulmates from your past that cannot let you go, or maybe you can't let go of them. Because the Death card in reverse for me, like upright, it's all about transformations, endings, coming into beginnings. In the reverse for me, common sense tells me that people describe you as somebody who people can't get over. Like once you fall in love with pile number 3, like you don't move on. Like it's very hard. Even like the 6 of Swords in reverse and the Star in reverse, people don't describe you as somebody who can't be forgotten. They describe you as somebody who's very famous. They describe you as somebody like everyone thinks they know, but probably don't. They definitely describe you as a person that people can't get over and they can't move on from you or your energy. So you may have a lot of romantic suitors from your past sort of coming out of the woods, maybe with the Mercury retrograde, if that's the time that you cross paths with this, or maybe your next Mercury retrograde. So bear in mind that energy I was tapping into with the mobile phone was like, it felt like if your phone's not blowing up yet, it's gonna be blowing up, and you're probably sitting there going, as if it will, just out of nowhere. Past people, present people, future people, all different sorts of people will be trying to like line up a date with you, is what I feel. People are describing you heavily as somebody who's very recognized at this time, okay? And then when we move into the spread, you're going to know if that resonates or not. So the Star in reverse in regards to how people would talk about you is there's some sort of like monotony. So people might describe you as somebody that doesn't like monotony, meaning the same old mundane routine. You're a person who is thriving for bigger and better things, I think, with 6 of Wands. So people might describe you as somebody who can't handle routine. Like you probably don't have a lot of Virgo in your energy. Maybe you are a Virgo, but maybe you're a Virgo who has been so routine, focused or forced by parents that you're like, fuck it, I don't want routine anymore. You hate doing mundane bullshit, like 9 to 5, in and out. Look at this little bubby. So yeah, that's the kind of vibe I'm picking up with the Star. The 6 of Swords in reverse talks about, in the sense of a descriptive context. It could be a matter of like people might describe you as somebody with the Star as well, that you are a person who prefers to run away from your problems than face them or heal from them. You're a person, they might describe you as somebody like pile 1 would rather sweep things under the rug as opposed to have this like deep and meaningful conversation as to why, what happened. Is that the moon? And there's the moon. So people might describe you as somebody who would rather just keep things on the low and not like bring them to surface, because maybe you have fears of confrontation. Maybe you guys are still yet learning how to have those hard conversations with people who have hurt you. But yeah, the 6 of Swords sort of suggests to me people may describe you as somebody who has a troubled past, somebody who could be still dealing or healing from a troubled past. And it's funny because Shay has had a very troubled past. Like Shay was in a house where they abused her before she went to the house that I found all 3 cats in. So it takes her a really long time to bond and open up. But she's such a beautiful little soul, and she's the only one out of the 3 that always meows when she gets her yum yums, and I always look at that as her saying thank you. So I feel like a lot of you people might describe you as somebody who's really well managed. You have maybe had a really troubled upbringing, like maybe had a traumatic like childhood. Which does not matter because baby Empress is here. So the 9 of Pentacles is, you know, very high vibrational energy in regards to people describing you. Pile number 3, I just want to reiterate that. We can't all be Mary fucking Poppins, right? We can't all be the lady from the fucking Sound of Music. Like this doesn't happen. We're not fucking nuns. So the Nine of Pentacles tell me people, and in correlation to this, there is this level of success. So people definitely describe you as somebody who's heavily successful, but it's self-made success is what I feel like. Where you are in this life right now and all the achievements that you've achieved and the material security you've obtained is all because of your own efforts. Like your successes come from your own efforts. Everything you own is because of you, not because somebody else has brought it for you. And that's what I really feel. People could describe you as somebody who's very single right now and very open to love, somebody who's on the market and who is very sought after. There is a lot of jealousy around you, possibly with people who are the same gender as you, that may see you as a threat with their lovers. And I see that here because we have the Two of Cups, right? I definitely feel like anyone that you've broken up with, people describe you as somebody that their current partner or somebody that they know who cannot get over you because they see you in this light of the Nine of Pentacles. I think a lot of people sit in a very low vibrational energy when they see where you are today, pile 3, and they think, fuck, I could have been by pile 3's side if I didn't maybe use them and abuse them and treat them like shit here. So yeah, that's what I'm picking up with the Nine of Pentacles. The Two of Cups is very, again, high vibrational energy as in light of how people describe you. But I definitely feel like people describe you as somebody that they have a very unusual but beautiful bond with. I think a lot of people might describe you as a potential soulmate here. I think people describe you as somebody that they have very fond memories of you. I think you've got a place in a lot of people's hearts because of your giant heart, but your genuine heart. Like you are very genuine. What you see is what you get. What you say is what you do. I think you guys always act out of a place of integrity. And so people might never want to hear what you have to say, but they know it's the truth. And I think that's where you bond with a lot of people over the course of your life, or that's how you will bond with a lot of people over the course of your life, depending what age group you're at. And then to close out your reading with the Death card in reverse, right? This again talks about inability to move forward and a fear of like change. So I don't know if some of you are so like, like you just want to be single. You don't really want to connect with anyone on a deeper level because something has happened. You're still healing from that. Like that is very evident in the sequence of these cards. People definitely describe you as somebody that once you got out of a relationship, like things got better for you. Once, like, I actually think people describe you as somebody who does single really well, and your life is always very successful and it's always blossoming because you don't resort back to old relationships. You don't but at the same time, you're not allowing new relationships to unfold either. So I would say that description is probably coming through from people who have tried to have a relationship with you, but you allow past relationships that have broken you, that you may still have to heal from here, to hinder those unions coming into union. So with that, I'm done. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know down in the comments if you feel comfortable, and I'll see you next time. Bye.